Inter won't be partying tonight because this is the tale of the tape, the updated one as well. After dominating Inter, now it has completely swung the other way and Milan unbeaten in their last 7. Hard to imagine, isn't it, from the Milan that we saw last season, where the only bright spot really felt like was when they beat Inter.
You know what I was just thinking about before the game when we did our predictions? I don't think one person on this desk said that Inter would win.
True.
I think 3 of us said that Milan would, and you had a tie.
No,
so
one of you went tie.
Yeah, but the point is that most of us expected this to happen, and there's so many reasons. We could talk about the tactics, which I think the tactics favor Milan in this game. That's why they struggle against teams like Pisa and Parma, Cremonese. That's one aspect, but then it's also the aspect of why Inter also lost the Scudetto to Napoli in the last years, and why we had the stat that Inter hadn't had wins over the big teams. The only one was the one with a lot of controversy in the Juventus games. Besides that, in the big moments, there's a feeling that there's no understanding. And now maybe tonight is the outsider because they're missing Hakan and Lautaro and Dumfries, and the list can go on and on. But for me, we see the stats, they are surprising, but then from the other side, none of us picked Inter to win for a reason.
Well, speaking of the crazy stat, it blows your mind when you think of Inter being the best team on paper in Italy for the last 3 seasons, yet they're the only one of the top 3 that hasn't won a trophy, right? That was one of the stats.
If only paper can play football. It'd be amazing, right?
But to the eye test as well, Grella, you would say they are the best, not only on paper, but playing football.
Alex was here. He said Inter's the best, and we all agree from a football metric they are. But this is like when you go arm wrestle your dad, you know? Like you're in a gym 5 days a week, and your biceps bulging, and your forearms great. And you go arm wrestle your dad, who's been working outside manual labor all day. Yeah, you can't win. and that's what's going on now. 7 unbeaten with 5 wins. I think if I read that stat correctly. It's unbelievable. Like, just from that perspective, if you're an Inter fan or Inter player, you think today it's not happening again. We're going to go and get this game today. And they didn't. And I think that's a worry. My first question to Chivu when I was at the training ground was, hey, listen, we love you, and we show all your stuff in America. We say you're the best all the time. I said, but you're letting us down in the big games, and it's true.
By the way, that was the first question that Grella asked.
Shit happens, was his response.
And it was fair, wasn't it? By the way,
not all him, to be fair.
Bringing his Grella analogy all the way to San Siro.
I think, listen, I think with Chivu there, maybe you could question him, but for me today, I don't think we can. I think that for me, I agree with Alessandro. The players in Inter need to step up. Today was a real big opportunity to put the Scudetto bed to race against your greatest rivals. I think that they had the better chances. They should have put the game to bed. They didn't. And I would start to question the players now more so than the manager.
You don't blame Chivu, but it's the first time in 16 years that they lose both games in the Serie A. To me, there's also a question for Chivu.
Look at that pass completion, by the way, boys. Every week it feels like he's in the 90s, getting up there to the 100s. Ciao, Luka.
Yeah, he's just a talent, such a talented player. You know, Alessandro says it right. He's one of those players where when we describe about football intelligence, that's Luka Modric. That's when we say, as analysts, when we say about football intelligence, thinking about the game, knowing how to control the flow of the game, when to speed it up, when to slow it down. Simple passes to people might think it's not that important. But when you play the game and you've been on the pitch, those simple passes are the right decisions in that moment of time.
Yeah, you say right. I mean, we are looking of players, how fast they are, how good they are with the feet and everything. But football is also which kind of choices you made and how fast you made these choices. Yeah. And Luka is amazing in this, you know. So it's that's a game changer for every player, you know.
For 4 million people is the population of Croatia. 4 million.
Yeah.
350 million people live in the U.S. Just to give you an example, how many quality players and one of the best players we've ever seen to come out of such a small population. For sure, there's something he's not telling us. It's a secret he knows. But incredible to get to still watch him play.
Are you trying to pick it up over there in Zadar with all the times you've been going?
Listen, I'm telling you, it's a special place. And he was telling me
he's picking up other things in Zadar.
Easy. He was telling me while he was walking here how many people that he gave the tickets to. His friends, family, but he said even former players. He said Sergio Ramos is here to watch him play. And I think Luka Modric goes beyond any club. He's football. He's what we love about the game. And the thing that I love watching him in Serie A, he runs like he's trying to prove himself. He runs like he's not a player that's won the Ballon d'Or. To me, that sort of spirit, when I watch it at his age, it makes him special.
Alessandro said it best. It's a pure love for the game. you can always see these players, even when they get older and they still continue to play, how they run around that pitch. It just shows a true, pure love for football, a hunger that will never die. Even when the day that they step away from the pitch, they're still going to have that.
Exactly. I give 100% of myself, even more, 110 if I need to. And I'm going to die on the field. If I have to run, I'm going to run. I'm going to fight. I'm going to do whatever it takes in order to perform my best. This is the mentality.
Is Inter lacking a player like Luka Modric, somebody with the experience, with the leadership in the changing room? Because that's been one thing when we've talked about Inter falling short, that who are they looking to in these moments?
They have a different composition of midfielders. I believe that these players could be and can be Çalhanoğlu because of the age of the players, because of the quality of the players, and because definitely in these years we saw that Inter with him is a different team. At the end of the day, it's a different team with more potential, with more strength, with more speed, and more character as well. For sure him, in my opinion.
I think for me, Inter are missing some leaders. When you look at that team today and you look at what was at stake, I didn't see too many Inter players getting angry and really trying to get the team going. There was one incident when Di Marco made a recovery tackle and he got frustrated and started shouting at his teammates. But he needs to be more than Di Marco. If I could say one player that was a miss for them and he's a different team without him, Lautaro. Lautaro Martinez is a big miss for this Inter side. When he's not playing, they're not the same team. What he brings to this team, they haven't been able to replace. When the ball goes up, it sticks with him, and then they can go and play to their strengths. But when he's not there, they struggle to hold the ball up.
There's a softness to them, no question about it. Bastoni stops Rabiot on the counterattack. He fouls him, he gets hurt, he goes off on the sideline. Barella is supposed to be the leader in this team. He was very quiet all game. He gets subbed off in probably one of the biggest games of the season, if not the biggest. The two strikers, soft. It's true. I mean, and we were there and we spoke to people and you can see it and you can feel it in the big moments, in the big games. There's a little bit of softness creeps into the team. And when sometimes the game is not just about the football, it's about something bigger, like we said in the pregame, they're missing there. They're less than Milan in that department.
So here is a look at the top half of the Serie A table after 28 match days. Inter still 7 points clear at the top with Milan behind them, 60 points they've got. What a turnaround it's been for Max Allegri's side compared to last season. Ale, you were just saying you would still rather be Inter in this situation, being the leaders. But I suppose the one concern is that with 10 games to go, they've got some difficult opposition. Atalanta, Roma, Como, Lazio, Bologna. It's not the easiest run-in for them. How important do you think the mentality change maybe in this team is going to be for those games?
Well, I believe Inter because we are talking about a team that knows how to win, first of all, and they have a lot of players that know how to win. So without the Champions League on your legs, you can have 1 or 2 weeks off, let's say like this, in terms of mind. We saw, even today we were talking about the fact that Inter is not performing well. It seems that they don't give 100%. They for sure give 100%, but something is switching on their head. So as soon as you recover that side, they are very strong in every section. I mean, midfielders are amazing. Striker, if you get back Lautaro and Thuram, you have 4 great strikers, and the defense very solid. So I don't see losing so many points, And on the other hand, Milan, that is a closer one, shows already many times, and we were talking about Luka now before, that big games they perform amazing, great, with personality, where they fight and they find the result. Little games, the one that you need to win the leagues, they're often losing points. They lose at home and they drew.
Yeah, like games like Parma early on in the season and Cremonese at the start of the season, those are the games that count. But I agree with Ale. When you look at this Inter side, let's be honest as well, that wasn't the strongest Inter side today as well that lost in this derby. You're talking no Marcus Thuram, no Martinez, Çalhanoğlu on the bench. Dumfries is still to come back. So the strength that they've got there is there. But I do say it's a bit of an opportunity.
Bastoni off as well. He didn't have a comfortable night. He got booed every time he touched the ball.
In this game tonight, in this match with the atmosphere, we were not lying. We were talking about how big it was. It was big. It felt something special. It's impossible that me at the desk, I have more energy than some of the Inter players in that game.
Was it nerves? Was it nerves?
It was too casual for me from start to finish. I think if they look at the game, I think if Chivu looks at the game, he's going to say it was too casual in a whole. You know, there were some moments in the second half, but it was too slow.
The start was too slow for me. I didn't like the start of the game. In a derby game, they're trying to play out the back. They nearly got caught where Luka scored, that we just saw in the highlight. I think they should have been a lot more aggressive from the start. It's hard to come out of that mindset when you start so lethargic as a player in big games. That's why I always like to start games fast. Even if you knock it in behind, you make the teams run and you squeeze up and you try and win the ball higher up the pitch. It's a different mindset for the players in the team.
For sure, something needs to happen in their minds, and this is work for Chivu for sure, and that's, you know, and the club, in order, and the big leaders inside the locker room. You know, say, guys, we are not in trouble, but we need to bring back that kind of angry passion for the game, for every little details. Because I tell you, I mean, it's not often that happened, but because I lost a championship with 9 points ahead, and I won a championship with 9 points behind. So.
And did you believe in that moment you could catch them as the chaser?
Yes, you still believe it, but 9 points is a lot, you know, when you have 7, 8 games. Now they cut 7. You never know. I mean, this is football, but it happens once in a while. Is that the year that happened? I don't know. I don't think so, but.
So if you were captain in this Inter side now, would you call a team meeting after today's game?
As a coach,
as a captain, like if you're captain, as a player, would you call a team meeting?
When we go back to training, yes. Now we're gonna give 2-3 days off.
Oh, okay. Not retiro, as some Italian teams like to do.
No, there's no need for that, to be honest. I mean, expert players, most of them, they know how to deal things. I mean, it's not the situation that you need to go. Plus, they don't play on Wednesday because of Champions League. So let's get a couple of days off and refresh, and then. But when you come back, I want to kick your.
Say it. It's American.
Yes.
TV. You could say it.
Kick your ass.
Yeah.
We're gonna go deep. You know, you talk with the coach, with the leader of the team, and you're gonna go deep in terms of angry, in terms of. Something's going on. Maybe exaggerate with the team about the situation. That is not that hard, but exaggerate in order to a little bit scare the players, you know, and say, oh guys, we need to wake up now. Not in a week or two, now.
Do you know what one other concern that maybe is creeping into their head is how many players on Inter are part of the Italian national team starting 11, Grella, to be kind of in this mindset with an international break coming up in less than 2 weeks now, in a must-win match followed by another must-win match. Is that a little bit concerning too?
No, I don't think so. I think they don't have one thing that doesn't have to do with the other. I think they're still focused on the Scudetto race and the domestic race, and then obviously when they have to cross that bridge against Northern Ireland here in Italy, I think they'll be prepared enough to cross that bridge. Just to go back to what Nigel said, and also Alex is you know, we say, okay, the leaders should get together. They should do this moving forward. They don't have the whole now. Who's the leaders there? Aside from Lautaro Martinez, that's injured at the moment, there's not so many in the group, and I think that's why you see in the big moments, in the big games, you see a little bit of a down performance. Or, I mean, the stats speak for themselves. There's so many big games that they don't win, and they really don't push the game. Like, in the end of the second half, I'm not saying create big chances, but put the ball in the box, move the ball quicker, create some danger. Luka was here, Modric, and he said we were too deep in the second half, late into the game. So ask more questions, push more the game.
Yeah, but even if you don't consider some of those players leaders, the guys like Çalhanoğlu, Barella, Sommer, Acerbi, even Akanji, in my opinion, you know, in terms of experience, Di Marco, they need to step up.
Yeah.
If you are not a leader, I don't mind. I don't care. You need to step up. You know, it's a matter of the moment. You need to feel the moment. That's what I mean.
100%.